Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video we are talking about the final rounds of the Chaos Coliseum against Orochi. So this Coliseum honestly isn't that tricky, especially with the new units that have come out. Roger just absolutely devours this. So I have 5 teams for you guys in this video today. There are a lot of usual suspects, but I did my best to try and use units that other units that you can bring besides the usual suspects. But basically the best units to bring for this particular content are the Boa batch. So Boa was sort of built to beat this content. The Robin, Rebecca and Viola are very, very good, as most of the time they put up 7 turns of all the debuffs, which they all remove. But in saying that, Roger and his batch just does it just as good. Just takes a little bit longer because you don't get the cooldowns at the start. But before we hop into the teams, let's talk about Orochi. Let's have a look. So this is the team on the screen. That's the team that I'm going to be using, the Chopper team. But yeah, it's very, very good. So if we can find Mr. Orochi down here, gotta say though, they did such a great job with his art. Look at that, the Shogun of the Land of Wano, just well done. He's special. He cuts his your own crew's HP by 80%. Now that may sound like a downside, but you can actually use that to your own benefit, because that will get rid of stun mechanics and stuff like that. Plus there's a lot of characters that need to be at low HP to get their full effects, stuff like V2 Rayleigh 6+. Can't think of anyone else off the top of my head. Okay. But Katakuri, yeah, there you go, yeah. V3 Katakuri, getting below to activate the super typing, stuff like that. There's a lot of good uses that you can put that to. But the big thing is he removes bind and paralysis by 8 turns. There's not a lot of units that remove it by 8 turns. He also completely removes enemies' irrelevant stats, to be honest. Honestly, it's nice that he does this, but it's just irrelevant. You're never really going to use it. So the end of turn damage, the recovery, the end of turn recovery, the cranky face where they attack every single turn, and then the attack up. That's nice, but it's not overly great. He doubles driven, cerebral, and powerhouse characters' attack for 1 turn as well. So that's very good for a free-to-play unit. Doubling attack, very, very strong. His captain ability, who cares? Honestly, who cares? We don't care about his captain ability. He's a stat booster as your support. Yay, who cares? As a crewmate, he boosts driven, cerebral, and powerhouse units' base stats by 30. And for his limit break, what does his limit break do? Let's just quickly have a look at his limit break. I was very ill prepared here. I do apologize. His limit break, what has he got? So he's got crit and enrage. So fairly nice. And then he also makes characters type slots have matching effects for himself. So that's pretty cool. So every color is matching. He gets 2 turns of special increase and gains an extra power slot too. So that's pretty nice. So that's enough about Orochi. Let's hop into the teams and let's see how they perform. Alright guys, so the first team I have for you in this video is actually sort of the team that this content was sort of built around. So V3 Boa and the new batch, I guess you could call it, are the units that are designed to take this particular piece of content down. Once we get to stage 3, we come up against Komurasaki and 3 of her little fanboys. Komurasaki removes all of our orbs, and on the second turn, she's going to blind our bottom row and stun us. What you want to do here is you want to make sure you take out these guys in the front, because they actually give an attack buff to Komurasaki as well as themselves. And because we can't take them all out on the second turn, they can do quite a lot of damage. They do turn into int units too. Komurasaki gives you empty orbs every single turn. But it's not the end of the world here, because we do have quite a lot of healing. Now, obviously, with this particular team, you kind of want to replace Komurasaki with Robin. That's the ideal run. But unfortunately, your boy doesn't have Robin. So we're going with Komurasaki. She's a free-to-play unit, and she's the next best thing. So we're just going to take our time here, stall out that bind, let Komurasaki do a little bit of damage to us, but she's not really going to do anything that's too drastic in terms of killing us. Once the blind goes away, we can take her out. I don't like letting characters take knees, but I don't think she does anything if you get her too low. She does around, what, 5k every single turn, so nothing too dangerous. The fact we're running a full side team as well helps us out quite a bit, as we just can take her out with our normal attacks. On stage 4, we come up against Kyorashiro. Kyorashiro turns into an int unit and has a counter mechanic. So He also has 2 turns of resilience, so you need a way to get around that. But with this particular team, as we can't delay him, we can actually use the Mirror ability. So we're going to be using that on this particular turn. He also gives us a full board of block orbs, as well as giving us 6 turns of attack down. So that is fairly annoying as well. So we do want to like get around that, and we do want to try and get rid of as many block orbs as possible. Or actually, now that I think about it, it doesn't really matter. Once the resilience goes away, what we're going to do here is we're going to use our Viola special. Viola is going to remove the attack down and give us an orb buff that we can carry into the next stage. And then we can use the super typing of Boa to change all of our orbs into Psy orbs. Then what we can do with that is we can just hit our perfects, and we should be able to kill Kiyoshiro here. Once Kiyoshiro dies, he is going to do like an 80%, I think it is, something like that. He just does a big HP cut, but with the ability, the Mirror ability still activated, we can get around that. Onto the final stage, we come up against Orochi and his 3 lackeys. Orochi is going to put up 6 turns of damage reduction, which goes down to 5. He turns into an int unit and gives us the normal attacks only debuff. He is immune to delay and defense down as well, which is fairly annoying. And then he does his big Power of the Shogun special. So I love Orochi's art, man. Orochi's art is just, he looks so damn cool. What he's going to do is he's going to give us a full board of block orbs with that hit, and he is going to bind our top right, bottom right, and middle left. You can't poison him either, which is fairly annoying. So make sure you've got your Big Mom in either the bottom left or the middle right, just so she can remove the bind here. Big Mom's going to remove that bind, and she's going to give us a chain lock for 3 turns as well. Then we can use our Mirror ability here. With the Mirror ability, what we can actually do is we can actually just stall out a turn so that it goes down to 4 turns of damage reduction. Now, this is where if you had Robin, you could just wipe this in one particular, like one turn. But unfortunately, we don't have Robin, so bit of a hit or miss there, but it is what it is. If you use an attack buffs on Orochi too, he does an interrupt as well, which is kind of annoying, but that doesn't matter too much. We are going to use the color affinity buff that Rebecca gives us, and then we can use our Komurasaki special. Now, Komurasaki is going to give us will wipe the damage reduction and give us some orbs. But with the super typing of Boa, we can actually get a 2.5 times attack buff that is non-affected by Orochi's interrupt. And with that, we should have enough damage just to take them all out. There you go, easy claps. So like I said, if you have Robin, put Robin on this team over Komurasaki. That way you guys will just have more damage that way. And you can save the Viola special if you need to. I don't think you really need it against Kiyoshiro, but I totally forgot that I had to stall a turn because I didn't have the 5 turns of damage reduction. Alright guys, so on to the next team now. We have a double v3 Law team. On stage 3, we come up against Komurasaki, and she does all that bad stuff, gives us empty orbs, removes sound effects. You guys know the drill. So what we're going to do here is we're actually just going to take out the guys in the front and use the switch ability of Invinclay to give us some damage reduction for when Komurasaki hits us. Now, on our Sabo, we do have Halloween Ace as a support. He's going to remove the bind that gets inflicted on our bottom row. He's not essential, but like he makes his life just a bit quicker and a bit easier for you guys. But if you don't have him, don't stress. So on stage 2, as you can see, we get stunned in our middle row and binded on our bottom row. So we can keep using the switch abilities of Invinclay to get damage reduction. And then we can just do our normal attacks. With Invinclay's switch ability, Law's amazing captain ability in terms of damage reduction, the healing from the Liberal Hind, that's another thing to note too, guys. We are rocking the Liberal Hind as we are using a full Psy team, just for that extra damage at the end. But you could use something like the Hose Ship or the Oro Jackson, as this whole team is free Spirit Slasher. Now, if you kill Komurasaki too quick, don't stress, because we do need to stall out 2 turns against the next stage on Kiyoshiro. And as you guys can see, we're getting like 5,000 healing every single turn. It's a lot of healing. Law's just an absolute tank monster. Like, he's the god of tanking. Him and Boa should just like get together and have like an absolute tank baby. Be nuts. Alright, so now that Komurasaki is dead, we can move on to the next stage against Kiyoshiro. Now, ideally, you want to switch into, what's his name? Bon Clay on this particular stage. That way we are a red unit, because Kiyoshiro puts up 7 turns of attack down, 2 turns resilience, and has a counter mechanic. Now, don't do too much damage, because that counter mechanic will hit you damn hard. As you can see here, does around 12,000 damage. So, a lot of damage, a lot of damage. So we're going to hit with our Clay, just single taps so the resilience goes away. And then we just get that amazing healing from Law and the Liberal Hind. So once the resilience is gone, we can use our Law special here. Law is going to give us a full border orbs. We can then switch into our Bon Clay, just so we don't do too much damage with the attack buff that Sabo is going to give us. Then we can finish it off with our Edward Weevil special. That way we can remove the attack down. Now attack with 2 of your Psy units first, because we need to hit 4 perfects for Sabo to get the carryover effect. And then that's why we switch into Bon Clay, because we just didn't want to do too much damage there. As you can see, we do get quite a bit of damage. Now, when Kiyoshiro dies, he does a big HP cut, but it's not the end of the world with the Law team. Finally, we can move into the final stage against Orochi. He's going to turn into an int unit and puts up 5 turns of damage reduction. He gives us normal attacks only, which is very annoying. And he binds our top, bottom right, and middle left. So you need to make sure that your Clay is in the middle right or bottom left. So that way, you can utilize their bind. Now, we do have the supportive boa there. She's not essential, though. Don't really worry about that too much. So we're going to use the switchability of Clay and then their special. So we have a full Psy team. Then we can use our Rayleigh special. He's going to remove the damage reduction and give us 2 times color affinity. And then we can finish it off with Law special. Now Law is going to give us a full border orbs, chain lock, and an orb boost. And then we should have the damage to take everyone out here. Attack with Edward Weevil first, as he's not getting an attack buff from Sabo. Boom! See you later, Orochi. So just has the damage there with Law. Does it fairly well. You could probably take 2 turns there with the 2-turn orb and chain lock that Law provides. Moving on to the next team now, we have a double Shanks Crew led team. Now this team is pretty whale based. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This team is pretty whale based. So what we're going to do on the 3rd stage against Komurasaki, we are going to switch with our Shanks Crews and switch with Mihawk Perona. And then we can just take out the units in the front. Now the idea here is we just want to make sure the units in the front are dead. That way they're not going to give Komurasaki the attack up. That way we can sort of just stall out the rest of these turns and just use our normal attacks to take out Komurasaki. With the 2 Shanks Crew leads, or the crew leads I should say, we get quite a lot of damage reduction. So that helps us out quite a lot. On the 2nd turn, Komurasaki is going to stun our middle row as well as bind our bottom row. So we do have to stall out the 1 turn there, or 2 turns there, to get rid of that bind. And then we can start doing some damage to Komurasaki. So we can switch with our Mihawk Perona to get some healing back and our Viva Rebecca for a chain lock. But the main reason we're using the switch abilities of these 2 is so we can get the healing. Also, the negative effect of Mihawk Perona is going to help us out taking less damage, which is very, very nice. So now that we've got our bottom row units back, we can actually start doing a little bit more damage as we can switch with our Shanks Crew. That way we can get some more orbs as well as a 1.5 times attack boost. And with the chain lock and the negative effect that Mihawk Perona gives us, we can take Komurasaki out fairly easily. We do have quite a lot of healing with the Liberal Hind as well, as we're getting around 4k with the switch abilities of VV Rebecca. So don't stress about taking damage here, as we're not really going to be dying. So we're going to switch with our units once again. And we can finish off Komurasaki on this turn. That way, when we move into the next stage against Kiyoshiro, we're not going to have the remove sound effects debuff. On the next stage, stage 4, we come up against Kiyoshiro. He's going to turn into an int unit, and he has a counter mechanic. That counter mechanic can do quite a bit of damage. So what we're going to do here is we're going to switch into Perona, so we get some healing and the negative effect. And then we can switch with our VV Becca, and then just single tap with VV Becca. That way we're not going to do too much damage, and the counter effect is not going to do too much damage to us as well. On the next turn, we can switch with our Mihawk Perona once again. We can switch into our crew and switch with our Viva Rebecca for the healing. And then ideally, we're just going to remove the block orbs here. We can't do too much damage because we have an attack down debuff, but if you want to attack, you can. Like, just sort of make your way through this particular turn. On the second turn, he's going to put up an attack up, and then he's going to start doing some real damage. But with the Crews as our leader, we can sort of tank that fairly well, without really any issues too much. Now that the attack down is, now that the resilience is gone, we can use our Chopper special to give us a heal, as well as remove the attack down. Now, I just realized I done goofed there. I used the switchability of Vivi Rebecca before I had a chance to use the Chopper special, so we're not getting the full amount of healing. So ideally you want to use Chopper special before you switch, but it's not the end of the world. Now that we switched into our Mihawk unit, we can then switch back into our Shanks unit to get the attack buff, and that way we should be able to finish off Kiyoshiro. Ideally, we want to switch into Perona when we get into the next stage, as Perona is the one that's going to have color affinity against Orochi. When Kiyoshiro dies, he does a big sort of HP cut, but it's not the end of the world. It's not going to kill us, so that's the main thing. Oh, I forgot to keep one of my Shanks Crews in crew. Damn it. On the final stage now, Yoroshi's going to blind our captain, our middle left, and our bottom right. So that's where we're going to use our Judge special here to give us an Orb boost. Then we can switch with our Mihawk Perona for the negative effect. We can use their special to give us the conditional boost. We can switch with our Shanks Crew. Unfortunately, I sort of did that goofed, and that's annoying. That's okay, we can attack with our Mihawk Perona at the end there. We're going to use our Shanks Crew special here, so we get the 3.5 times chain lock. We're going to use our other Shanks Crew. That way we can get the higher attack boost. And then we can round it off with the Vivi Rebecca special. Now, unfortunately, the guy in the front has a 2-turn barrier, so we do need to burst through that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to attack with our Shanks Crew first, and then our other units after that. With that, see you later, Orochi. We have plenty of damage there, as you guys can see, and Shanks Crew, as always, getting it done. Unfortunately, it's a pretty big whale team, but I mean, if you just bring like a V3 friend captain, or if you have the new Rayleigh that came out with the Roger batch, he's just perfect replacement for someone like Vivi Becker. Alright guys, so I just finished my recordings with the 4 teams to take this particular content down, and I was like, you know what? You actually get some +3 cotton candy, and this is the Chaos Coliseum, so, let's bring our boy, Chopper. Let's bring him. So, this team is very, very similar to the Shanks Crew team. It's actually, like, almost the same. I just sort of swapped Shanks and... it's actually the same. I just swapped Shanks and Chopper. So now Chopper's our leader instead of Shanks. But this time, we're bringing a friend Goldie Roger, because, like, let's be real, like, if you just bring Roger, you kind of just win, to be honest. Oh, actually, it's not the same. I put Rayleigh on this team. Who did I take off? Vivi Rebecca. I took Vivi Rebecca off and I put Rayleigh on, mainly because Rayleigh just does what Vivi Rebecca does, but better for this particular team. So, on Komurasaki, we are just going to take our time to take her out, utilizing the switch abilities of our Mihawk Perona and our Shanks Crew. We basically just want to stall out the... oh my god, that's so much damage. Okay, we're probably not even going to need to stall it up. We just want to stall out the remove sound effects and the bind that gets inflicted on our bottom row. Once the bind's gone, we can move on, because we need to stall 2 turns to remove the resilience on the next stage against Kiyoshiro anyway. So we can just, like, absolutely destroy Komurasaki. Not like that, but, like, you know what I mean. On to the next stage, we come up into Kiyoshiro. Kiyoshiro is going to turn into that int unit, puts up the counter, the resilience, block orbs, 7 turns of attack down. You guys have heard me ramble on about it enough now. But honestly, just be careful, because that counter does quite a lot of damage. So we're going to use the switch ability of our Mihawk Perona here, and then we're just going to single tap. That way the counter is not going to kill us. Wait, oh, it shouldn't kill us. Yeah, okay, cool. And then on to the next turn, we are going to switch with our Mihawk Perona to get the negative effect. And then we can use our Chopper special. Chopper is going to remove 5 turns of the attack down, but he's going to give us 3 turns of healing. That's the big reason we're going to use him here. And then we're just going to just tap with our units, just so we can get rid of the block orbs. On the third turn, when Kyorishiro puts up his attack up, he's going to hit us around 15k, which is a bit nasty. But this is where we are going to take him down. So we're going to use the switch ability of our, what's his name? Mihawk and Perona. And then we're going to use the super typing of our Roger, as we're not going to need that in the final stage anyway. Then we can switch with our Shanks Crew. Shanks Crew is going to give us an attack buff. And then we can just, with normal attacks, take out Kyorishiro. I don't think we're going to have enough damage to take him out in one turn, but we can take him out on the second turn, that's fine. It's actually good, because that way we can switch back into Shanks Crew. So we're going to switch with Shanks Crew once again. We're not going to switch with our Mihawk Perona, because we do want to switch into them on the next stage. And then we are just going to try and hit with characters that I can get orbs again for. Beautiful. Once Kyorishiro dies, he does that big HP cut, but honestly, we could not care less. Honestly, Kyorishiro, I could not care less about your HP cut, mate. Final stage, come up against Orochi. Turns into an int unit, puts up 5 turns of damage reduction. Barrier at the front. You guys know the drill by now, surely, provided you watched the whole video. And if you didn't, well, I'm not going to say it again, because this is the 5th time I've done this. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we are going to use Judge. Judge is going to remove the bind and give us an orb boost. Then we can switch with Mihawk Perona to get the negative effect. We can use Mihawk Perona's special for a 2x conditional boost and block orb rotation. Probably should have used Roger first. We can then use Roger's special. He's just basically going to kill everyone in the front and stop the remove attack buff that Orochi does, because screw you, Orochi. Then we can use Rayleigh's special to remove the damage reduction, and then we can finally use the Shanks Crew switch to go back into Shanks, and then use our Shanks Crew special for the 3.5 times chain lock. And with that, honestly, Orochi, if you survive this, I'm going to be so impressed. Yeah, no way. Just literally 2-tapped. So there you go. If you need some cotton candy and you want to farm this event, this is probably the team that I'm going to use, because that was ridiculous. Ridiculous. And the final team is led by the Pirate King Gold D Roger. Now this team is awesome, to be honest. On paper it looks so damn cool. I'm actually very excited to use it. Unfortunately though, well, not unfortunately, but I do think the Boa team is going to be the better option for this particular piece of content. Obviously, because her units are boosted, you can just do it quicker. So, on this team, we are using the free-to-play Sabo. We do have the support of Halloween Ace on this team once again. I don't think that's really overly essential, though. Like I said, in the... What team was he on? The Law team. It just makes things a little bit quicker for you guys, but like it's not overly necessary, as he's just going to remove those 2 turns of bind there. And then we can just sort of like slowly make our way through Komurasaki's HP. Like, look how much damage Roger does, man. Like, he's just tearing through this event. Absolutely tearing through this event. We are using the Oro Jackson on this particular team, as we're running all free spirits and slashes. You could run the Liberal Hind if you want to, as this whole team is Psi units. That's probably going to give you a little bit more damage. I just like using the Oro Jackson, because like I do use the Liberal Hind all the time. So on to the... we just tore through Komurasaki. That was insane. On to the 4th stage, we come up against Kyorishiro. Kyorishiro puts up a counter mechanic and resilience for 2 turns. He turns into an int unit, gives us a full board of block orbs, and gives us 7 turns of attack down. So he is very, very annoying. But what we're actually going to do on this particular stage here is we're going to use our Crocus special. Crocus is going to give us a little bit of like an overheal mechanic, but because we did take some damage against Komurasaki, he's just going to put us close to full HP, and then we can sort of just single tap. We don't want to do too much damage against Kyorishiro, as he has that counter mechanic, but it's not the end of the world, because we have the huge damage reduction that, what's his name? Crocus gives us. On the next turn, we do want to stall out the resilience, so we are just going to do normal taps and eat that meat orb that we were lucky enough to get. On the 3rd turn, Kyorishiro puts up an attack up for himself, but just with that damage reduction, like, he just does no damage. Straight up, no damage. Now that the resilience is gone, we can use our Sabo, the Clash Sabo special, to remove the 5 turns of attack down. He's going to give us a color affinity boost. Basically make all our orbs matching. So, like, that's really cool. I don't remember he did that. So, with that, we are just going to attack Kyorishiro. And I was meant to use a Roger special, but I forgot. But it doesn't even matter because Roger has so much damage. That was filthy. He's the GOAT, bro. Like, Roger's so good. You're about to see why he's so good too. Once we get to the final stage against Orochi, he puts up 5 turns of damage reduction. His lackey in the front has 2 turns of a side barrier. He turns into an int unit, gives bind to our captain, our bottom right, and our middle left. Gives us a full board of block orbs. Like, he just does so much. And also, if you use an attack buff or poison, he will just cuck you. So don't do that. It's not ideal. So with this new free-to-play Shanks, we can remove the bind. Just make sure he's in the middle right or the bottom left, so you are removing the bind there. We can then use the new rare recruit Rayleigh. Rayleigh is going to give us a 2x color affinity boost, as well as remove that damage reduction. And then we can use the super typing of our Roger. Roger's going to give us a full board of orbs, get rid of those block orbs. They're very nice. And then we can use his special. Now, with Roger's special, he's actually going to give us like a 3x attack boost because we've just been hitting so damn hard with the Rogers. But the big upside to using Roger's special is he actually does 1,000,000 damage to everyone, which goes through normal attacks only, and barriers, and damage effects, which means those 3 lackeys in the front should just get absolutely clapped. Now, because he gives an attack buff too, Orochi's actually going to have his interrupt, but because he is the Pirate King, he just says, I'm sorry, that's not going to happen today. My Haki's stronger than yours, Orochi. Back the hell down. And that's why he's the GOAT. Like, that mechanic right there, against content like this, is stupid strong. Stupid strong. Now, we don't even have an orb boost on this team, and I reckon we're going to absolutely clap him. Oh, look at that. You're getting absolutely clapped, Orochi. Oh my god. That's so much damage. 51 mil. Okay. So there you guys go. That was the final team against COLISEUM Orochi, getting it done with Goldie Roger the Pirate King. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. If you want to stay up to date with more OPTC content I post, hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, most importantly, enjoy the rest of your day. As always, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later!